Commission has been swirling within the political arena. Of note, the Prime Minister's statutory declarations have not been certified by the Commission. Now, the statement by the Commission comes 24 hours after the opposition People's National Party continued to pressure the government to urgently table those reports. This was PNP General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell in St. Andrew on Sunday. Dr. Campbell said the PNP is expecting to have the reports in hand at its annual conference on Sunday to properly dissect the issues and present them to the people.
I wish to address an article published by the Jamaica Observer today, which is filled with speculation and unfounded allegations. The article claims to report on an investigation involving 8 politicians, it says, from the JLP and PNP. The Observer article states that, and I quote, "In almost all of the cases, the allegations have been made to the Integrity Commission by people who claim to have information surrounding acts of corruption or illicit enrichment, but there is no documentation to support these allegations." End quote. In other words, malicious stories may have been concocted and sent to the Integrity Commission for partisan political reasons without any foundation whatsoever. I want the public to note that this reporting by the Jamaica Observer is entirely separate from the 8 sitting members of Parliament cited by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment. The allegations reported by the Observer article are not part of the ongoing investigation by the Integrity Commission into the 8 MPs who are accused of illicit enrichment. In my view, this is a blatant attempt to confuse and mislead the public. I want to be clear. As leader of the opposition, I directly consulted with all sitting members of Parliament and senators of the People's National Party. And in these discussions, every parliamentarian from the PNP has confirmed to me that they are not aware of being investigated by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment. The PNP firmly maintains its position that any parliamentarian, from whatever side, who is guilty of the offence of illicit enrichment should face the full force of the law. They should be dismissed from public office and should never hold public office again. The PNP stands resolute in its commitment to transparency, accountability, and good governance. I urge the public to remain vigilant and recognize this report for what it is: a deliberate distraction from the Integrity Commission's investigations into the 8 MPs who have been identified for illicit enrichment. We want to know who they are, and we look forward to the reports coming to Parliament and being made public. This is a serious moment in Jamaica's political history, and I urge all Jamaicans to rely on credible, verified information rather than allowing partisan media outlets to distort the truth.
Well, my viewers and my subscribers, I am telling you, my mind and my head is in a spin. What has Mark Golding done? What has he done by mouthing this statement that was put out? Hello everyone, welcome to Jamaica 411. Thank you so much for stopping by, keeping me company as usual. If this is the first time you're visiting this channel, welcome. Very nice to have you. Please subscribe, and if you like the video, everyone, please give it a thumbs up. As a matter of fact, if I were you, I would give the video a thumbs up now so you can concentrate on what it is that I have to say. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe, and also leave your comments in the comment section and share. Well, now that the preliminaries are out of the way, we must now discuss these very weighty matters. The Integrity Commission put out a report today reminding the media that it is unlawful to discuss the matters in the report before it's been tabled in Parliament. Well, I suppose Mr. Justice Seymour Mullins had to say what he had to say, but I am sure with his wonderful and astute legal mind that he must have figured by now that the information is being leaked by the government. It is the government would have probably given Cliff Hughes that bit of information. And when I say government, I'm talking about those who received the documentation and those who would have been privy to what's in it. They would have put the information out. So I don't know who it is that is going to be or will be prosecuting any of the media houses for talking what they say is coming from out of the very leaky faucets in the Integrity Commission. Anyway, we are going to discuss what it is that Mark Golding said with his own mouth about the report in the Observer this morning. And today is September 10, 2024. I did something on it this morning. It came out this afternoon, in fact. And you can all go ahead and watch that video where I dissected the report of the Observer. And I should like to say, I believe the Observer. I believe that the information that they got is coming from the Integrity Commission. What I think happened, let me tell you what I think happened. I think that the PNP, and when I read this to you and dissect it, you will see that there can be no doubt that the PNP, and when I say PNP, you must understand me to be referring to those risers, Mark Golding, and especially Dayton Campbell. They have been more than hinting that they have the goods on the report that is to be tabled in Parliament. Right? They are making statements. First of all, Julian Robinson came out and said that the 8 JLP members of Parliament are being investigated for illicit enrichment. That's what he said. And he said that a report was due to come out this September on those persons being investigated for illicit enrichment. You would have heard Dayton Campbell himself referring to the report that is out and talking about it has to do with the Prime Minister. And he would have said so last week. I do believe it may have been Thursday, before anybody even knows what the content was. Sunday, Dayton Campbell was at a political meeting talking about him dare the Prime Minister to reconvene the Parliament early and table the reports. And by Monday, Nationwide News Network were reporting that they got information about the contents of the report that was submitted on Thursday last week, which was September 5. And they basically were saying that the Director of Corruption Prosecution rejected a request by the Director of Investigation to charge Mr. Holness for making a false statement on his statutory declaration, as far as I understand it. So that kind of put a spoke in the whole thing. Now, one must wonder, did the PNP know what was in the report, or did they not? Did Dayton Campbell, Mark Golding, and Julian Robinson, did they know what was in the report? Because if they knew what was in the report, how is it that they came out and said that they expect that Holness would be, recommendation would be made for him to be charged? Did they know what the Director of Corruption Prosecution said? That she rejected it? Maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they only knew that the Director of Investigation had recommended charges. So they were confident that he was going to be charged and there would have been an early election. They were even predicting that the election would be held in December, at least Julian was. So it would appear as though they have connection in one section of the Integrity Commission, but not in the other section. Either that, or they deliberately left out that part of the report in order to create confusion, right? To save face. Now, let me tell you what I think is going on. I think that somebody is leaking information to the PNP, and other persons in the IC who may well be Labour Party supporters, or maybe just persons who think that it's not fair, they decide to leak information to the observer. You follow me? So the poor Integrity Commission has become one hell of a leaking faucet, right? With all sorts of leaks are going here and all sorts of leaks are going there, and I don't know what plumber can fix that. But as I said before, I don't agree that anybody should be leaking any information to any political party. If any leaks going to go on, make it go on to the press. You follow what I'm saying? But it should not be leaked anyway because it's not lawful. So that is what I think is going on. Let me get now to this letter, which is what you heard Mark reading from. He personalized it as he should and made it his own. So he can't he can't separate himself from this statement now, you know, because he read it and he personalized it as his own statement on the matter. And we at Jamaica 411, you and I, are going to dissect this letter. This is an attack on the Jamaica Observer for reporting something that basically contradicts what the PNP risers have been saying all these many months about the illicit aid, right? They have been claiming that they are not PNP people, they are labor rights, and that Andrew Holness knows knew and knows who they are, and then he must come out and tell us who they are. You remember Mark keeps saying that on political platform? Till him all went and said that because the Prime Minister's declarations have not been certified since 2020, he should not be eligible to remain in the Parliament. So I'm saying now, just recently. But let us dissect this letter now. Let me get to it. The People's National Party wishes to address recent reports published by the Jamaica Observer, which has issued an article today without attribution, filled with speculation, innuendo, and unfounded allegations. This article claims to report on an investigation involving 8 politicians from the JLP and PNP. The Observer article states that, and they are quoting now, in almost all of the cases, the allegations have been made to the IC by people who claim to have information surrounding acts of corruption or illicit enrichment, but there is no documentation to support these allegations. In other words, malicious stories may have been concocted and sent to the Integrity Commission for partisan political reasons without any foundation whatsoever. Now, you recall what it was that I said in my previous video. That video is entitled, as you see here, Probed for Illicit Enrichment, right? In that video, I spoke about this very section. The fact that the persons who complained did not submit any documentation doesn't mean that the IC cannot investigate. As a matter of fact, they are obliged by law to take the complaint, record it, and investigate. So the persons who submitted these allegations to the Integrity Commission, it is not necessary for them to have the evidence. It would be better if they did, because it would save a lot of time and a lot of money. But if they only have the information, they can pass it to the Integrity Commission and they will look into it as much as they can. Once you point them in the right direction, they will run after it. All right? So the assumption by Mark Golding that because the evidence was not presented, that it is without any foundation whatsoever, that is not necessarily true. Plenty of people know lots of things. Many times they would have heard stories from third parties, people who are associated with the persons in question, right? So that is not necessarily true. And what else did he say? That it was concocted? No. Why would you say that? You don't know what it was reported and you jump into conclusion that it was concocted. Yes, it is possible, but you can't say it was concocted. Let me continue. We want to make it unequivocally clear. This part now, you really need to listen. I want you to pay close attention, my viewers and subscribers. But before I go on, can you just hit that like button, please? Go ahead and hit the like button if you have not yet subscribed. Please hit that subscribe button as well. But I want you to pay very close attention to this part. Listen to this. We want to make it unequivocally clear to the public that this reporting by the Jamaica Observer is entirely separate from the 8 sitting members of Parliament cited by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment. You hear that? The 8 that is being reported in the Observer, Mark Golding is saying, is separate from the 8 that were cited by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment. So what is he saying? Is another 8 of them now? Is that what he's trying to say? In trying to cover their tracks, because they have for months, over a year, they've been carrying on about this illicit 8. And now that the story coming to bump, right? And more revelations are coming out of the IC other than what they were putting out. He's now saying, yeah, they might talk about 8, but a separate something that. What we did not talk about, that we are talking about. The ones that the IC is looking at now, according to them, are 8 labor rights. So, is he trying to say that these 5 PNP politicians and the 3 JLP politicians cited in the Observer this morning are separate something from the 8 that they claim are labor rights, the labor right MPs? Is this what he's saying? That there are actually 16 people being investigated, but the Integrity Commission never said so. They say it's 13. They say it's 13. 7 for making false statements on their statutory declaration. 6 for making, for illicit enrichment. That's what they're being investigated for. And 2 of the persons who they are investigating for making false statements, 2 of them are also being investigated for illicit enrichment. So that would make it 15 investigations, but only 13 members of Parliament. You're following that? Great. So what is he talking about? Anyway, let us continue. Listen to this now. Listen to this. The allegations reported by the Observer are not part of the ongoing investigation by the Integrity Commission into the 8 sitting members of Parliament accused of illicit enrichment. Let me read that again. Come on, take me to read it good for you. The allegations that were reported in the Observer this morning, he's saying, are not part of the ongoing investigation by the Integrity Commission. How him know that? My viewers and my subscribers, how did Mark Golding know? How does he know that what the Observer is talking about, those persons they were talking about, is not part of the ongoing investigation? How does Mark Golding know that? Is he a part of the Integrity Commission? Is he one of the commissioners? Is he the chairman of the Integrity Commission? Is Mark Golding the director of investigations? Is that what he is at the Integrity Commission? Or is he the one that is doing the prosecution at the Integrity Commission? How can he say such a careless and reckless statement like this? That what the Observer is talking about, the allegations that they are reporting, are not part of the ongoing investigation by the Integrity Commission. Who is he to be saying that? Is this man crazy? The Integrity Commission need to put them foot down and haul his ass in and ask him some questions. Seymour Panton, Justice Panton, you need to call in Mark Golding. Enough is enough. And ask him some questions. Even if you're not fair, ask him some questions. Invite him to come to the Integrity Commission's office at 8 o'clock, bright and early and sharp, one morning. And then don't come to meet with him until 4 o'clock. Make him sit down the whole day. Make him feel your power. Justice, you know how to do that. You're a judge. You know how to make people feel your power. You cannot sit down and have this man, this little English man, him have no respect for the people in that party. He has no respect for the constitution of the PNP, no respect for the constitution of the Jamaica, no respect for the parliamentarians. Sit down in our parliament, prims up with him illegal self. And now he is going to be speaking on your behalf, Justice Panton. You never realize that? If him is going to come talk about what the Observer reported is not part of the ongoing investigation, it must be you. Is who appoint him? He's speaking on behalf of the Integrity Commission who appointed him. How did Mark Golding know? How did he know that what is reported in the Observer is not part of the ongoing investigation? Who told him that? I suspect nobody did. Nobody did. He's just flying his mouth as usual. Right? Because him have a position and the whole are afraid of him. I don't know what I'm afraid of him. What I'm afraid of him for? What I'm afraid of Mark Gold and Peter Bunting for? Them a duppy? Are they duppies? What are you afraid of them for? These people are depending on people to vote for them. You don't need to be afraid of them. They are nothing like everybody else. What are you afraid of them for? Seymour Panton, you need to call in Mark Golding and put him to sit down in a chair at the commission, make him sit down there for hours and can't leave. Or you charge him, find something to charge him for. Make the court go figure it out. You don't need to worry yourself about that. Let me continue. The statement went on to say, this is a blatant attempt by the Jamaica Labour Party and its media allies to confuse and mislead the public, thereby creating unnecessary confusion. Can you imagine? The man is now attacking the press for reporting something contrary to what he was putting out for more than a year. That's what this is all about. He is saying that the 8 people being investigated are labor rights. You heard Julian Robinson saying so at the People's National Party Women's Movement Conference on the 18th of August 2024. You heard him say so. That the 8 of them are labor rights. They emphasize that they are labor rights. So that is their story. The Observer come now and kick over that and say, contrary to what you have been hearing, John Public, 5 of them we are learning are actually PNP, right? One of them being a counselor. In fact, that person was described as a senior official at one of the municipal corporations affiliated with the PNP. So the only persons at the municipal corporation would be the councillors. And if it's a senior person, then it's either a mayor or a deputy mayor that they could be talking about, right? So one of the 5 is a councillor. You have to be a councillor to be a mayor, right? The other 4 would then be MPs. We know that because no senator is being investigated for illicit enrichment or anything at all, right? They are only MPs. So then it will be 4 PNP MPs, 3 JLP MPs, right? So we account for 7 according to what was reported in the Observer that they are hearing from their own source within the Integrity Commission, right? And because that now shock, after the people, especially comrades, who are reeling from the shock to hear that Andrew Holness was exonerated by the Integrity Commission, they then get up this morning only to hear, contrary to what they were being told by their leaders, that it is 5 PNP politicians who are being investigated and 3 laborites. Right? Now, now Mark is trying to make sure that nobody believes that what he was saying about the persons being investigated for illicit enrichment, the 8, were laborites. He was anxious not to have that contradicted. Hence, he came out swinging against the Observer, claiming that they are misleading the public and, according to him, create unnecessary confusion. Anyway, let me continue. According to the news release put out by the PMP, he said, "Let us be clear. The leader of the opposition, Mark Goling, when he was speaking, he said I, right? So this is actually a report that the party put out, and he personalized it, according to the press release that the PNP put out. Let us be clear. The leader of the opposition, Mark Goling, has directly consulted with all sitting representatives of the People's National Party in both the upper and lower houses of Parliament. Following these discussions, every PNP parliamentarian and senator has confirmed that they are not aware of being investigated by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment, as well as they may not, because I am sure there are several of them in the Parliament whose statutory declaration has not been certified. According to the 2023-2024 annual report, it's only 2 that they were able to certify from last year. So that would have been Mark would be 1 and another lucky member of Parliament or senator. It's 84 of them, and they only examined and certified 2 for the whole of last year because they have a backlog and they have been certifying them as far back as 2018. 2018, they certified 7 of the, I think it was 7 maybe of 18 or 14 or something like that they had examined, right? And they certified 7. That is from 2018 and so on. So many of them sitting in the Parliament, they have never, or their statutory declaration are still outstanding in terms of them being certified. Not their fault. It's the Integrity Commission doing them audits, right? And them can't manage the work. Even though the law told them that they must just check, make sure everything is accurate, and then certify. Them do audit, right? And so these MPs and senators, they probably don't know what the dickens is going on. They're probably fretting, thinking that maybe they're the ones being investigated. But no, them simply not get round to you yet. Probably look at your statutory declaration for years. Anyway, let me continue. Nonetheless, the People's National Party firmly maintains its position that any parliamentarian, whether from the PNP or the JLP, Jamaica Labour Party, who is implicated and found guilty, So don't just implicate them. You have to go and take 10 years or 15 years in court. By that time, him all angry and left politics. Well, hopefully him left politics very soon, right? But you have to not only be implicated but found guilty of illicit enrichment or unexplained wealth should face the full force of the law. Such individuals should be dismissed from public office and barred from ever holding public office again. The PNP stands resolute in its commitment to transparency, accountability, and good governance. Anybody can recall what it is that the Integrity Commission cited Ian Hills for? You can recall? He has them in court about something, and I think that has been tied up in the court for quite a while. But then again, let me continue. He goes on to say the public must remain vigilant and recognize this report for what it is, that are the report, not the observer, a deliberate distraction from the Integrity Commission's investigation into the 8 sitting members of Parliament identified for illicit enrichment. So hold on, He is talking about that this is a deliberate attempt to distract, right, from the Integrity Commission's investigation into the 8 sitting MPs. And nobody know who they, what is this man talking? How can you be distracting from the Integrity Commission's investigation into the 8 MPs when what the observer is saying is basically these are the 8 people that are being investigated? That's what the observer is saying basically. They haven't said so in so many words, but the mere fact that there are 8 match the 8 that is being investigated, right? As a matter of fact, the integrity report did mention that there's a councillor that is being investigated. Yes. And 2 more persons were being investigated for illicit enrichment, 2 members of Parliament. And as I said, they are also being investigated for making false statements. So the observer got the information from inside the Integrity Commission, right? Where else could they have gotten this information? Where else could they have gotten the information from more than inside the Integrity Commission? 5 PNP, 3 Labour Rights. 4 MPs, 1 councillor for the PNP, and 3 Labour Rights. Are who the observer is hinting being investigated by the Integrity Commission. And that threw a spoke in the Rise camp, because you don't want to know how upsetting this is to Mark Golding and Peter Bunting's Rise camp. The people, I hear them are going with pure things underneath the tent. Pure things are going underneath the tent. Can't believe that they were being lied to all this time. Right? Well, serve them right. We told you can't trust a traitor, but you believe you could trust a traitor. Anyway, I thought I should bring you this, right? And you heard Mark Golding himself uttering words to give the impression that he knows exactly what it is that is being investigated by the Integrity Commission. I think that man is losing his mind. Now the man is forgetting himself. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for listening to me. Please remember to like the video, share, subscribe, and leave your comments. Until next time, take good care of yourself and walk good.